Hi there. Today we're going to talk about legal forms of UK business. And UK business is divided up in three different sectors. First of all, you have the private sector, which is by far the largest, and I will get back to that later. There is the not-for-profit sector, where all the charities, but also most of the private schools are in there because they have a charitable mission. And last but not least, you also have the public sector. The public sector is made up of three different areas. First of all, the local government. So there are quite a few businesses which are run by local government, like for instance, leisure centres and libraries. Central government, there you would have businesses like for instance the NHS, defence, they will be typically in there. And then you have the public corporations. That would be, for instance, organizations like Channel 4, although they are owned by the government, they are providing solutions and they're providing services for private individuals as well as the public sector overall. So that is the public sector. Overall, by the way, employment in the public sector has gone down in comparison to the past, because most of the businesses here have been privatized, i.e. they are now quoted on the stock exchange, and because of their privatization process, they now are part of the private sector. Now the private sector, overall, by the way, as we've already seen in the previous video, there are around about 4.8 million businesses in the UK, and 3.1, around about 62% of all of the businesses, they are in the private sector. Now, the private sector, by the way, is made up of two different areas: unincorporated businesses and incorporated businesses. Now, in terms of unincorporated businesses, here you would find businesses like sole traders, also called sole proprietors. It's a bit of a misnomer, but sole traders, they can also employ other people. But typically, like for instance in 2013, it's only 9% of the sole traders who employ other companies, other people. Now, unincorporated businesses, in fact, are not businesses at all. Basically what it means, you can start as a sole trader tomorrow morning. You don't have any issues in terms of you have to register your business anywhere. You can start therefore straight away, and it's easy to set up. However, as a sole trader, you don't have any shares and you are unincorporated. What that means is you as a sole trader and as a person, you're one and the same thing. So in other words, there is no legal separation between a business and the sole trader, or the business and the person, I should say. What it also means is that as a sole trader, you have unlimited liability. What that means is that all of your debts will be part of the business. And so you have to be very, very careful that if you have a failure in the business, they will also come after your personal belongings. What it also means is that, for instance, that if unfortunately something happens to you as the sole trader, in fact, the business will cease to exist because you are the business. And that, by the way, so in other words, that is all part of unincorporated business. You have unlimited liability. If, on the other hand, you are an incorporated business, what that means is you have two things. One is a memorandum of association, and also your association details, and they have to be registered by or with Company House. At that moment in time, basically what happens is you are a in the first stage, a private limited company. A private limited company, that means, by the way, and if you are an incorporated business, first of all, you have shares, yeah, and therefore you will have shareholders. And secondly, you will have you will have limited liability, excuse me. What that means by that is the following, is that you can only use, or you can only lose what you have put into the business. There will be a clear separation from a legal perspective between you as an individual and the business. And so therefore the business itself, yeah, can invoice people, but also can sue them, yeah, or you can be sued, but also will have its own assets as well as its own liabilities. When you are a private limited company, at that moment in time, you will have sold the shares to your friends, your acquaintances, and maybe even your family, yeah, and therefore it is private. You know all of the people who are your shareholders. If, on the other hand, you have floated your company on the stock exchange, or you have what they called an IPO, an initial public offering, at that moment in time, those shares are owned by other individuals, not companies or people that you know, and at that moment in time, you are a public limited company, you are a PLC. So you have to be able to make the distinction between a private limited company, LTD, and a public limited company, but from a legal perspective, there is no difference. I hope this makes sense, and I'll speak to you later.